as chair of the Milton Free Public Library Board of Trustees, find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, the public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is
The
no
recording has started.
Do I have to start over? Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing the following means to join remotely with the meeting to listen and watch via conference call for people who don't have means to watch live stream. The trustees of the Milton Free Public Library are together meeting at the town hall and have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting. Contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, 1, participate in this meeting by dialing the toll-free phone number +1 844 855 4444 and upon the prompt enter access code 14562 and push #, or by clicking on the following website address: https://join.freeconferencecall.com/Milton-TA. The online meeting ID is Milton-TA. Number 2, town YouTube live stream. The town's normal live stream broadcast on its YouTube channel, which can be accessed from the Milton Town website at https://www.miltonnewhampshire-us.com, then clicking on the social media tab or by clicking here. Number 3, no public comment period. Please note this meeting comprises a series of operational and budget discussions, and while we encourage the public to call in to listen or watch the live stream, there is no public comment period, so I ask that all callers please mute their phones so we do not get feedback. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. 1, we posted notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting on Wednesday, April 8th, 2020, including how to access the meeting telephonically and on the YouTube live stream. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the Town of Milton. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are any problems with access. 1, if anybody has a problem, please call 603-545-4956 or email at miltonnewhampshire-us.com. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Public participation is required only in the case of a public hearing or a quasi-judicial proceeding of a planning board or zoning board of adjustment. Many public bodies are utilizing video teleconferencing technology, such as Zoom, to ensure the electronic meeting complies with the right to know law and any applicable due process requirements. In certain circumstances, a regular business meeting of a public body may be conducted utilizing audio-only technology. If you have any questions about the appropriateness of the technology utilized to conduct your meeting, please consult your agency counsel or the Attorney General's office. Milton Free Public Library Trustee Meeting, Thursday, April 9th, 2020, 11 a.m. We are beginning at 11:11. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call attendance, please. Miranda Myrie.
Here.
Ann Newt.
Here.
Betsy Baker.
Library Director.
Nancy Drew. Temporary Chairperson. Ernest.
Ernest Krubling, manning the computer.
Ashley Morrow.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. By previous discussion of the board, a potential alternate to serve.
Okay. And
Ashley Morrow.
computer person?
Yep.
Okay, on the agenda, I don't know if you missed it, Betsy, but I do have the minutes from the last meeting. I don't know if those need to be reviewed now. Would you like, is that what we'd like to do?
Does everyone have a copy of them, or do you need a copy of them?
I don't think they do.
I need a copy.
Okay, I can keep the clean ones here to sign, okay?
Or do you have the code? Do you want me to do that for you?
Hmm?
You want me to do that for you? Oh, you have enough?
I have enough.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I so move. Second.
Okay.
Okay. So that was Ann Newt,
Yes.
the moved, seconded by Miranda.
We have to say it out loud because it's recording. Thank you.
And all in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye, sorry.
Name.
Okay.
Karen, Larry, sorry. I'll learn.
Okay.
Okay, you have to do a roll call vote, so
Okay. Okay, so I name the name and you say aye. Okay, Ann Newt,
Aye.
Miranda Myrie,
Aye.
Nancy Drew, aye. It passes unanimously. These will be placed on file. Okay. I would like to entertain discussion. The next item is the election of officers. As you know that at our last election that we have a new person on board, and I think we need to have some kind of discussion regarding what is going to happen now, so. Randy?
I'd very much like to remain treasurer if that's acceptable to the other members of the board.
Okay. I am, Nancy, you're very comfortable in the role of secretary, and I would like to remain secretary, but that's open for discussion, so it's up to you people, okay? Ian?
Well, I'm willing to take any position you'd like me to take. As a new member of the board, I haven't got a lot of experience on how this board works, but I could learn to be the chair.
Any discussion? Larry, I think we mentioned before as a previous chair that you would be willing to participate in a position of the alternate trustee?
Yes, I think, however, structurally, you would do well to get out from the line of fire, that's a joke, and take nominations for the primary office, which would be for the office of chair. Then with a new chair in place, then you can have the secondary offices, and then the board as a whole may take such action as it wishes to nominate an alternate to serve.
Okay, thank
And I
you.
would say that this is an absolute win-win situation. As I said to Anne back in the last century when we had the election, it'd be a pleasure to have her on the board. I admire her experience and look forward to good service.
Okay. I'm going to open and entertain nominations for the position of chair.
I'd like to nominate Ann Newt for position of chair.
I will second that motion. Nancy Drew.
I'll accept.
We need to vote.
We need to vote. Okay. Randy moved. Nancy seconded. Anne agreed. And so I'll call for the vote. It's I, and, well, say it. you know.
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Nancy Drew, aye.
Ann Newt, aye.
Okay, we have our chairman, Ann Newt. Thank you, Ann. Okay, in the office of secretary, is that what we
I'd
do now?
like to nominate Nancy Drew for secretary.
I'd like to second. Nancy Drew for
Okay.
secretary. Ann Newt.
Newt seconded. Okay, I will agree to that position, thank you. All in favor?
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Ann Newt, aye.
Nancy Drew, aye. Open for the office of treasurer. I would like to nominate Randy Myrie as the treasurer.
I would like to second Randy Myrie as a treasurer.
I agree. Miranda Myrie, I agree.
All in favor? Nancy Drew, aye.
Ann Newt, aye.
Aye. Miranda Myrie, aye.
Okay. For the position of alternate, I would entertain, I have one question. I know the last time we had an alternate, they had to be approved by the selectmen. So is that part of the process?
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry, Larry Brown, the recommendation and vote of the library trustees would go to the selectmen for their approval.
okay,
With that approval, then the person can take the oath of office for 1-year appointment as alternate.
okay,
I thought I had it for 3 when I was.
I'm sorry,
alternate.
three.
Three.
Yeah, okay.
Three.
All right. I would like to recommend that we nominate Larry Brown as our 3-year alternate.
I second.
Okay. Okay, we'll call for a vote, please.
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Okay. Nancy
I'd
Drew?
like discussion.
Huh?
Oh, sorry, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
right, thank you. How about discussion?
I'd like discussion.
Larry, I think started it, and I figured that was discussion, but I guess we need some more.
I'm not quite sure how an alternate is going to work for our, I'd like an explanation of how this has worked, because I have never had this experience
Of
of
an
an
alternate?
alternate.
Okay,
I've only had, as a board of trustee, other members.
okay, I'll do the explaining because it was a few years ago that on the attending the New Hampshire Library Trustees Conference, they recommended very highly that every board have an alternate, because many times, especially with a 3-member board, we couldn't if we had 2 people absent, we couldn't pass anything. So we looked around and found a person that was very interested in the library. So we went and followed the rules and went to the board, and Randy was our selection, so that's how we did it. So that's the reason that we had chosen an alternate. The alternate serves only when we can't have a quorum. So if there's 2 people, they come to as many meetings as they can. They become a voting member when there's not a quorum. So that's the purpose for the alternate.
Okay. And this seems to work okay?
I bet, Betsy, you're not a voting
Well,
member,
I
how do you
will-
think?
Betsy Baker, library director. What has happened in the past with the trustee board is anecdotally, that in any given month, there may be 1 or 2 trustees that can't make a meeting. It's a volunteer board, so especially in summer months, grandchildren and vacation time and what have you has come up, and we have used the alternate for voting purposes and on occasion.
And I will just add on to that. I don't believe we've ever come into something that was an emergency decision-making thing, and we have been working nicely with our alternate that we had until she got elected onto the board.
And I would also point out with Larry Brown specifically, with his past working with the board, his historical knowledge, and his general knowledge about municipal processes, that he is a good person to have available for those type of questions. Resource.
Resource, that's a good one.
Resource.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
yes.
that one of my favorite cartoons among thousands is a guy standing on a ladder, desperately looking in the 2nd floor window of the building. And the caption reads, "No, that report has to be done on Thursdays." And the caption of the cartoon is, "Joe had a hard time stepping into retirement." That is not my problem.
So we don't have to get you a
If-
ladder, right?
Well, no, seriously. In that cartoon is a gem of truth. If it is more comfortable for the board to work with 3 new members, I have no agenda for no nothing.
I appreciate that, Larry. Thank you. Okay. My feeling is that as secretary, I like to get my wording precise, and Larry has been my language check, and I appreciate his presence. Okay?
Miranda Myrie is treasurer. Larry's always helped us understand some of the town situation, and it helps us to get a clearer picture than we would have without his knowledge.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you for asking for it. So I entertain a motion for the the permission to present Larry's name to the select board to see about an approval, and then,
I thought we had a motion.
We did, and
We
I
did have a
seconded it,
vote.
so
Okay,
we
you
were just
seconded it,
up
so
to
we're
the
all set.
vote, I believe, Ann, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay? So this is an aye,
Aye.
okay. Yes,
Miranda Myrie, aye?
Nancy Drew, aye.
And Newt, aye.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is transfer of bank account, and I would like at this time to pass the gavel to our new chairperson. Is that appropriate? And so that I will resume being secretary, which is easier than doing two jobs.
I believe so. She is now the chair.
Okay?
Okay. Do I have a copy of the agenda?
It's on
I
the,
gave-
okay.
I actually gave you an
Oh,
extra
okay.
copy here. So, oops, sorry. Looks like she has several copies here.
All right.
Okay, that's your library's report. Okay, thank you.
So we're now on to the topic of transfer of the bank account. What does that involve?
It was addressed in the minutes of the last meeting, so, if I, Nancy Drew, can just highlight this. Discussion about the process needing to change the name authorized to sign checks for the Citizens Bank account. We needed to show in the minutes of the meeting that Miranda, who is the treasurer, whose name is not on the account, has the approval of the trustees to add her name to the check writing capacity for the trustees' checking account. And before, Larry, as chairperson, was the signer, okay? And we just have to prove to the bank that Miranda has our approval, and at the last meeting, we did approve that.
So that's, with these approved minutes, Miranda will be able to go to the bank
Mm-hmm,
and get her name put on the checking account.
yes.
Okay. Do we need any further motion on that?
I do
Larry?
not believe we do, but we need to have these minutes signed, so I forgot to do
And I
that.
guess the other thing is, I don't know at this point whether the bank is doing,
That's all right, Miranda
Sorry.
Myrie, I'm not planning on going to the bank until it's much safer to go there. So whatever you approve today, if there's an emergency and we need a check signed, we're still gonna have to ask Mr. Brown to sign it since he's still legally on the account as the only signee. And if Ann would prefer to be the only signee on the account, that would be all right with me because that would be a double blind of no checks could be written without the approval. But I would be happy to put my name on it. I was just trying to think, because I always felt better that I couldn't write the check, since I have the checkbook and the checks, and I know that there have been, so
Or would it
maybe
be-
this isn't time for discussion of that possibility, Ann, or we have no bills due, we've only earning interest, no money's been deposited, so nothing's happened to the account since our last meeting except for the interest of 2-month interest, so. Would you like to speak on that, Ann, for me?
Well, I'd like to ask if we have ever had two signers on the check
Mhm. Yeah,
in the account.
the old, it was you and Laurie Palmieri.
Laurie Palmera, who was the previous treasurer, was on the account. When she left, she took her name off.
So,
It was in theory, it is possible to see a need for a check from the trustees that requires its immediate use. And with two signatures, we had a fallback. There were also certain historical oddities which made that useful. And end of paragraph.
so this is.
Miranda Myrie, Larry, do you mean having two signatures useful,
Uh,
or not having two signatures
Having
useful?
two signatures
Okay.
was useful because of earlier, now unimportant circumstance.
I will just say This bank account that we are talking about is the library account where
Mhm.
we collect
Fine.
any miscellaneous fees.
Mhm.
We are a fee-free library, but copier fees, donations, that type of thing, that the business of the library, we work with the town.
Um, So what is the board's desire? Do you want to just continue with this motion, that we already have, to put Miranda on and have one signature? Or to go ahead and put a second person on?
My feeling is a second person, it is valuable to have that second person on, and I would like to see that, but I want to make sure that Miranda's name is on there,
Oh, yeah.
okay? And I think if you agreed to be the other signee, that, as chair, that would work. This is
Okay.
Nancy Drew talking now.
Can I have a motion to, I think that would be a good idea too, so.
So
we have a
Miranda
motion.
Myrie, I move that with the new signage at the bank, that we have 2 signatures on the checking account for any checks that are written.
You want to say who you want the other one to be, or the
Oh, I'm
chairperson?
sorry. And I would very much like, if she's approves of it, Ann Newt to be the second signer as the chair of the board.
I second that motion.
All right, any further discussion on that? Then can we have a vote?
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Nancy Drew, aye.
Ann Newt, aye. And now we can move on to the librarian's report, which we all,
I did not print out an updated treasurer report, but I can give Mrs. Drew the information for her notes
All
if
right.
she would like it. We had 2 cents interest 2 months ago and 3 cents interest last month. So our current balance in the checking account is $3,068.87.
okay.
306887?
306887.
No,
And
okay.
I will definitely have a written report next month.
Okay, so that 2 cents was February?
2 cents was February, and 3 cents was, 3 cents was March.
Okay,
An
thank you.
increase of 5 cents.
All right.
No deposits since 2/14. If you'd like me to, this is Miranda Myrie still speaking. If you'd like me to, I can write up a report and email it to you.
I would
And-
accept
and-
it, like Nancy Drew speaking, I think if you brought it to the next meeting, that would be.
Ann Newt,
Yeah,
is that all
would
right with
be
you?
fine with me.
Okay.
Ann Newt. Moving on to the librarian's report.
Okay, I did send you a abbreviated sketch, but because of the circumstances, I will also read it. Our patron count for March, 91 adults, 2 teens, 41 children, which is a total of 134. To date, that is 355 adults, 14 teen, and 125 children, which is a total of 394 patrons, January through March. Well, actually, January through today. The Downloadable Book Consortium, there were a total of 158 transactions for the month of March, 94 audiobooks, 63 ebooks, and 3 magazines, which gives us the transactions for the 20 through March of 324 audiobooks, 257 ebooks, 12 magazines, and that's 593 transactions. That does not include April. No transactions on the Ancestry website. On March 16th, in response to New Hampshire Governor Sununu's announcement regarding the COVID-19 response, I closed the library. At the time, I was accepting phone calls, emptying the book drop, and responding to email daily. On Friday, March 27th, in a further state action, I closed the library completely until May 4th, including sealing the book drop. And that was because most of that material may hold the virus for several days. The New Hampshire State Library suspended its van service and closed its doors to the public the week of March 18th. The COVID-19 response by the Milton Free Public Library required many decisions regarding staff, closure, and services. I have, since its closure, had many meetings with Milton department heads, formulating the Milton response, and I had very little to do with it except as a supportive role. I have met with other libraries, and the state library has had many online meetings. And I will tell you, this whole response is a moving target and a steep learning curve for everyone. So I know I just say many meetings. I didn't keep a running total. And I will tell you that this morning I was at a library director's meeting, and they were still issuing more best practice guidelines, so that, things that for instance, I thought we were only going to be open, we were only going to be closed until March 31st, until we weren't, that it's still a moving target, and there's still a lot of information and a lot of decisions to be made. I do have staff working from home. I'm really pleased with, the ability for the staff to take the time. I have staff that have small children, and dogs, and I'm sure you all have felt it, that this is really chaotic. Even though we're saying, we could be at home for, days on end so we can get all of those projects done, it doesn't necessarily happen as we dream it will happen. Plus, the stress of it, we're all here keeping a safe distance, wearing masks. It's stressful to think that, people, our neighbors, we have to really be careful of. So I will say that I'm really proud that my staff is able to carve out that time and do the work. And some of the things that have been done, we have our own COVID response page on the website that Ruth did, and she did a really tremendous job. It includes some good resources on finding online material and also things to do. We're going to have a bingo game over Facebook this afternoon, so if you haven't gotten your card, now's a good time. That's at 2:00. And I noted earlier, we updated the website. And I'll also at this time note that anything that is happening regarding the town, it is still a moving target, and the town has a website set up, and the town has also come up with a communications board, and any of that material, I would say the best place to find out what's happening at the transfer station, what's happening at the recreation department, to go to the town website for all of that information. I am looking forward to opening up on May 4th and planning the summer reading program. However, just like everyone else, I'm kind of working in these dual realities of, you know, if the stay-at-home orders go beyond May 4th, what we're going to do. The state is putting together ideas for an online summer reading program, should that be the reality this summer. So, once again, moving target. And I think that's what I have for you.
I'd like to make a comment, Miranda Myrie. I'd like to thank Betsy for all of her hard work in keeping us involved in knowing what's going on at the library. And so can I ask if salaries are still being paid?
As of right now,
Okay, just wanted to check because I don't know who to ask something like that of, so thank you. But thank you for all your hard work, Betsy.
Nancy Drew speaking, I agree, Betsy works above and beyond, A+.
And Newt, I also concur. I have a question. As people can't return books, they're beginning to go overdue. How many times can they renew them online?
they can renew them online once. However, and hopefully people are listening, send an email. I am responding to emails during the work week. I am renewing books, and also the staff is is checking emails, and if they catch somebody's overdue, they're fixing. We're correcting it. We're renewing for longer periods of time.
So they can all-
obviously. Yes.
I'll go to May 4th or whatever that moving date is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Miranda Myrie, if we don't have an overdue charge anyway, is this hard for the people? Since we don't charge for late books,
We're not charging.
but we never have, right?
We have never.
So, but what about books they checked out of the state library?
There will be no charge. The interlibrary loan van has stopped running as well. We're renewing. We're going to fix things. I'm doing quotation marks around fix. When we get back in the building and everything's up and running again, we will renew your interlibrary loans for a later date.
So Miranda Myrie again, so people who have overdue books don't need to worry about it.
Correct. Please email me, especially those that are taking advantage of the downloadable book consortium or other programs that run through our website or through our library. If you have books that are overdue, you can't borrow on the downloadable book consortium, so you just shoot me an email. I respond daily. I did take off last weekend, but
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Excellent.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That,
Very well.
it go with what Betsy is saying about the guidelines from the state library and local libraries associations being continually updated. The safety of any person who has a book out now, and beyond that, the physical books as they come back, I'm certain that all best practice will be followed to keep the books that are out there still available for use. And everyone should keep their books safe until that day.
Betsy Baker, I'll just note that we have have some very good patrons and very conscientious, and so I am sure we're not having people just toss things into the landfill or anything like that.
Next item of business is any public comment.
Do we need to turn the person on the phone back on?
There's nobody on the phone.
Oh,
Did Les hang up?
But
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Other business to come before the board? I had one item I looked up, and the spring conference of the New Hampshire Library Trustees Association has been canceled. So we don't have to worry about that, as we discussed it last time.
It postponed till next year.
Postponed, yes.
Yeah.
Larry?
that to the degree that is useful, I would sign the minutes if you have the clear copy, and I would note signature for the record, term expired 3/13/20, and that way if anybody wants a record of my signature when you go to add your names, you will have that with you, and I will stay on as long as it is useful for me to be signing.
Okay.
And Miranda Myrie, I had one more thing. You had asked for copies, you were interested in seeing how the money was working through the library at the
Mhm.
last meeting. Did you want to pursue that today?
No, I looked into the town report and saw what I wanted to find.
Oh, wonderful, thank you, good.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the meeting?
Are we going to schedule a next meeting?
Good question. Our regular next meeting would be on the second Wednesday is May 13th. Are we going to try to go for May 13th, or?
Nancy Drew speaking. I think that would be a positive step. We can schedule it because we can always unschedule it if we need to.
Okay.
And we don't know what's going to come up, so I would favor scheduling the meeting.
All right, and
I also want to just note for the record that there was a meeting scheduled for March 18th, and there was an agenda that was posted, but that meeting did not happen because of the town closing the public buildings.
I wrote a note to that effect on the agenda that I had, and I have it in my records, okay?
do we need a motion to set or can we just agree that we're gonna meet on May 13th at our regular time, which is 11 o'clock?
Our regular time
Mine is
was
2
2
o'clock.
o'clock.
2 o'clock.
But if you want to change it, it's okay.
No, 2 o'clock is fine. 2 o'clock hopefully at the library.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we meet on the second Wednesday of May at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Milton Free Public Library. Miranda Myrie.
I second the motion, Nancy Drew.
Roll call vote, please.
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Nancy Drew, aye.
And Newt, aye.
Okay, and then you have to adjourn the public meeting, but we're going into non-public.
Okay.
Now,
Both.
I am not an alternate, neither am I necessary for the meeting, so I am going to leave you at this point for the non-public session of the trustees of the library themselves.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
Larry.
All right, so I need a motion to adjourn the public meeting.
I move that we adjourn the public
Recess.
meeting.
Recess.
Recess the
Recess.
public meeting. Thank you, Larry.
Leave, Larry. Recess the
I
public.
so move.
I second it.
All in favor, please?
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Nancy Drew, aye.
And Newt, aye.
Okay. and shut down. the
You do have to make your motion to go into non-public and everything, and there's a roll call vote before you go out.
Wait a minute, all right, I move that we go into the non-public session of the Milton Free Public Library, Miranda Myrie.
You have to state the RSA.
Tell me what it is and I'll state it.
It's not on the agenda?
Yeah,
I don't have an agenda.
it's on the top of that, right there.
According to RSA 91-A:3, parentheses, I, lowercase I, parentheses, right now?
And the second one too.
Okay, and also RSA 91-A:3, parentheses, lowercase a, and parentheses, okay? I've never done that before. Thank you.
All right.
Now, there's
I,
not yet-
I second
Yeah.
the motion.
Was that a move? What did we
Yes.
move it? Okay.
Yep, so now can we have a vote, please?
Miranda Myrie, aye.
Nancy Drew, aye.
And Newt, aye.
So much to learn.
Now we can turn it all off.
And this can, well, this is